let's get this going. So, first of all, I want to thank everyone for just meeting with me and being able to kind of go through this with me and being able to talk about the things that I was able to do during this semester. And this is project management through the eyes of a parent, I guess.
Cool.
And so, where to begin? So, I met with Brother Godfrey at the beginning of this class period and kind of trying to figure out where I wanted to take my experience with this class and figure out what I really wanted to do and what I wanted to get out of it. And so I had taken a class of a similar format with 381, which is Business Intelligence and Analytics. And I ended up really liking the learning path that I was able to take in that class. And so a lot of my expectations and things that I wanted to do were synonymous with that. Some of the things that I kind of had to make up for in regards to my experience with 381 was that I wasn't actually a part of a class. And so, and I also didn't have the lectures that were every class period and things like that to be able to, kind of fuel my learning in that way. And so I kind of had to rely on myself and some of the different topics and, just kind of the community, I guess, in a lot of ways.
Just became more self-directed.
Yeah.
Yep.
To be able to kind of fuel my learning in that regard. And so I relied a lot on the 380 community. It was really helpful just to give me ideas of where to go and what I wanted to learn about, and where I wanted to ultimately take my project. So I guess some of my shortcomings in that regard is that I wasn't able to really interact a whole lot with the community, or a classroom, and able to rely on other people to develop projects or even to, just kind of bounce ideas off of, as well as I didn't necessarily meet with Brother Godfrey all that often. And so if I were to kind of redo it again, I'd probably maybe try and get into a classroom every now and then or come into
and I do have a couple of the online students that are doing that. Just periodically they'll come to the class.
Right. And so that's kind of where I would have probably changed a couple of things. But ultimately, I think the things that were really successful is that I was able to choose a path in what I wanted to learn, and follow that path and be able to actually gain something from it. And so, kind of ultimately, last semester I did a couple of different projects that were fueled on couple of different couple different categories of business intelligence and analytics, where this one I kind of took an approach of I had a project, and throughout that project I actually developed it into 3 kind of different projects that were all related to the same topic, and took a different approach to each one. And so it was actually really nice to kind of see the development and what I actually liked and what I didn't like and what was successful in versus what was not. And so
Good.
The project
that helps you build a lot of experience. And that's the kind of stuff that speaks the loudest in your own implementation of projects, and as you interview for jobs and those kinds of things, that's what speaks the loudest, is when you've taken it on for yourself and really gained and learned from it.
Right.
Cool.
So the project that I actually did was potty treating my 2-year-old daughter.
Awesome.
And so why I kind of did this is
not as simple as it sounds.
yeah, so during some introspection of what I wanted to gain and how I wanted to build myself was I wanted to be able to have a team, because I lacked that in the classroom, and I kind of wanted to be able to do something that I was a stewardship over, something that really involved me personally.
And real stewardship.
Yeah, and so that was something that I could accomplish. I had my wife as my team member, and kind of Amon as well, though she's not as good as communicating as my wife is. And and I'm responsible for my family and their progression, and so that was something that I wanted to take on myself.
Cool.
And so the application of this kind of was able to grow in a lot of different ways. So the different methodologies I kind of used were, I actually took a pretty broad scope to agile development and the way that I kind of wanted to go. And the things that made it more successful were narrowing that scope. And so I kind of took a critical pathway and a little bit of a spiral way, but it was kind of mostly kind of like a scrum when it was an agile path, and then I eventually turned it into a full-on waterfall.
Interesting.
And so it actually, I think that was kind of, a backwards way to do it, because most people would think that they wanted to do it this specific way and then expand outwards.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of the reverse what most people progress through, but I may see why. We'll see.
So
let's go.
So as far as like the generalities or the backlog that I developed for my project, and the goals that I wanted to achieve is I want Aemon to become 100% diaper free. I didn't want to buy diapers anymore. I wanted her to wear panties and be able to go to the bathroom, and I didn't want to be a part of that process, I guess.
Yep.
Ultimately, I really wanted this to be a positive experience. There's definitely plenty of horror stories of potty training going wrong and them not getting potty trained until they're 4 and because of it, and different things like that. And I really wanted to have strong communication, not only between me and my wife, but between me and my daughter. Cool. I really wanted her to understand what we were trying to teach her in regards to going potty, and that was a good thing, and have that be a positive experience because it helps us communicate together as well. So my initial approach to it was I was gonna kind of develop it in a large spectrum and then narrow down the exact method of how we were going to go about it, and the kind of different boundaries that we were going to set for it were what were the boundaries? The different boundaries that we're going to set for it was going from big to small, I guess.
Okay.